There we go. What's up, guys? Today is June 11th, Tuesday, Marketing Tuesday. I'm actually not going to talk about marketing today. I'm going to talk about lending and hard money and financing. As always, drop a comment. Let me know who's here. Let me know if you guys have any questions, any issues, any troubles. You guys need help with marketing. You guys need help with closing a deal. Any of that. Drop a comment. Let me know. Give me a shout out. All that fun stuff. I'm running a little late. I'm running a little behind. I apologize. This morning, I forgot to start recording. Tommy would kill me. This morning, Jessica and I picked up Jessica. We went out to, where the hell? Saginaw. Went and looked at a property out in Saginaw. Got back from that about a half hour ago, so trying to wrap it up and get live for you guys. The property walkthrough in Saginaw was interesting. She's somebody that is on end of life care. I don't remember the name of it. It's not hospice. It's Pandemine care or something like that. She's on, right? I forget what it was. She looked really good though. So she's worried about her Medicaid and how palliative, or whatever the hell Jessica's saying. She's on palliative care. So thank you, Jessica. She's worried about losing her Medicaid. She's worried about losing her insurance. So she really has to calculate the end of her life. So if we give her $120,000, yeah, that might help her solve all of her problems, but also might create more problems for her, right? If she loses her Medicaid, if she loses her insurance benefits and all of her, I don't want to say death benefits, but if she loses that support from the government, does selling her house actually solve her problems or not, or just create new ones? That's an interesting one. We haven't, we've had to deal with death plenty of times, but the Medicaid aspect and the palliative care is new for us on this one. So we're gonna have fun with it. What else? What do I want to talk about before I jump into the topic of discussion today? Next Thursday is our dispositions meeting. It's in our office. Come on out. If you haven't been to one yet, definitely a good time, definitely a good place to meet other people and just connect, find out what's working in the market and it's not. Tomorrow's call is going to be at 2 p.m., not 1 o'clock. It's going to be with Deal Machine. I had an interview with Deal Machine. And then at the end of the month, on the 29th, I believe it is, I'm going to be sitting down and interviewing Matt Camp from Deal Machine himself, the vice president. So a lot of things coming this month. Also on the 26th, I can check my calendar, there is Pat Hilton's Mastermind Meetup get-together that he is holding. If you're not going to it, or if you don't know, it's on the 22nd, sorry. It's on Saturday the 22nd. I sent out an email. If you guys are interested, drop a comment, let me know, and I will send you the link directly and get you out there. Also, just a great crowd of people in the DFW area. Let's get on to today's topic of discussion. And as again, all right, I talked about it yesterday. I'm just going to keep on reiterating it. Every day, I'm going to try to bring a topic of discussion. I'm going to talk about it, and then we'll wrap it up pretty much. I'm not going to drag these things out longer than they need to be. I want to make sure that we're providing help and resources for our group, but not just dragging things out unnecessarily, right? How do I want to do this? How's that look? Good? Put me down there. That works. All right, so today's topic of discussion is cash, hard money, and private money. What's the difference, okay? People interchange these words all the time, and they mean three very distinct different things, okay? They are all completely different products, All right. So from a lending world, from a lending perspective, it's just another product. Who's providing it? Who's doing the funding and underwriting and the due diligence? Every one of these are completely different. Okay. A lot of times, wholesalers will interchange. They'll say cash only. Meanwhile, all three of these kind of qualify as cash in the eyes of lending. But when you're talking about deal structure and acquisitions, cash is completely different than a hard money loan or private capital. So I want to break it down. I want to get into it and kind of break it apart. If at any time somebody has a question, wants me to stop, raise a hand and let me know. As always, I will drop these slides in the community. This way people have them just for references, and if they want, they can ask questions. So jumping right into it, I'm going to start off with cash. Then I'll talk about hard money, and then I'll end it with the private capital. Okay, that's the journey that I'm going to take us on. So starting off right off the bat, definition and benefits of cash purchases. Okay, the definition: cash transactions involve buying properties outright without financing. Okay, that is a huge thing. Hard money loans, it's still a form of financing. And when there's a form of financing, there's a form of due diligence. Okay, that lender is going to do a bunch of checks and balances and backgrounds and just do a bunch of deep diving to make sure that property fits their lender box. Okay. Cash is a lot different, okay? Benefits: there's no mortgage payments or interest, right? Strong negotiating power with the sellers, okay? Faster closing processes, and often allows for better purchase price. These are all true. The cash comes from you, though. This is a big thing, okay? You're not going to talk to Aunt Edna and borrow money from Aunt Edna, even though she's a cash hoarder and she has cash. The second you start doing that, now you're looking at private capital, okay? It's no longer your cash. That's the thing about cash, is it's supposed to be your cash, all right? Usually these type of investors aren't available until the end of their investing career, okay? A lot of times people get into it, they might have a big wad of cash and they want to start buying properties, but they really find out real quick that they're going to limit themselves on how many deals they can actually turn over before they're running out of money, okay? These are all funded out of their own pocket. The purchase price and the rehab, everything. Speed negotiation power in cash deals. Okay, cash is fastest. There's no doubt about it. Okay, you're not going and you're not saying, oh, do I need a survey on this property? Yes, you probably should get a survey on the property. Yes, you probably should go and get an appraisal and do all these other due diligence. But as a cash buyer, you don't need to. It's your cash. Okay, so it comes down to your gut feeling and your word. Okay, this is why it's typically a higher up investor. Okay, somebody knows what they're doing. And that also goes back to the negotiation, right? Negotiation power. Sellers often prefer cash offers due to certainty and speed of closing, which can lead to better deal terms, okay? If you show somebody that you have the money in the bank, you're not playing around, you're gonna close tomorrow or the following day, right? Once title is closed, I'm ready to fund it. You have so much more leverage with sellers, okay? When to use cash for real estate investments, all right? So the best situations are when quick closing is crucial. Right? If you need to fund a deal by Tuesday because it's going for auction and it's Sunday, guess what? You're going to have to go and find somebody with cash. All right? You can't go and try to get a hard money loan that's going to take up to 14 days to fund. Right? The second you do that, the deal is dead. For properties with high competition, okay, it's another way to stand out. Being a cash buyer allows you so much more wiggle room in negotiations, in power, in a bunch of things. I apologize, I'm putting my phone on DND. And then when avoiding financial costs and unique deal structures. This one bugs the shit out of me, even though I wrote it. And it's true. People try to use their own cash to get away from origination fees and small penny costs, okay? They think that they're going to be paying with all their money. They're going to avoid the 3%. They're going to avoid the origination, the points, the interest payments. You're going to cut all those out. You're saving all this money. Yes and no, okay? Yes, you're saving money because you're not paying points in origination, but you are also drastically depleting your cash reserves. Okay, even if you had $1 million in the bank, if you did a $250,000 purchase and a $50,000 rehab, and it's a $450,000 house, I'm just throwing numbers out there, you're still all into that thing for $300,000. How many deals can you do before you run out of capital? Okay, whereas if you take that same buyer who had $1 million in the bank and he goes and gets a pre-approved with a hard money lender, he can take that $1 million and leverage it with other people's money now and do 5 to 10 times the amount of deals, okay? Because it's more of a, you're now actually doing business, right? You're not just sitting there trying to save a couple pennies, okay? So instead of stepping over dollars to pick up pennies, you can start leveraging it. Unique deal structure, that is another thing, okay? So what do I mean by unique deal structures? A lot of times, if it's, I'm trying to think of something that would qualify, okay? If it was a mobile home that was moved, maybe, let's just say, if it was maybe 5 beds, maybe it's a 5-plex, not a 4, right? So now once you step over 4 doors, you're stepping into small multifamily, right? Trying to find the lenders to, maybe the garage conversion wasn't really done up and up, right? So things that are gonna get flagged by the due diligence, that doesn't make it a bad deal. It just says, hey, that lender, their restrictions are gonna make this deal not optimal for them, and it's gonna really dry up your lending pool. I'll try to keep on thinking of some more ideas for that, but it is common, okay? I've also, in the lending world, when I'm doing the refinances, I come across these all the time where I'll go to do the refinance on a cash purchase. Okay, when you buy it with cash, you don't realize that you also, for the refinance portion, if you're going to try to BRRRR it, right, buy, rehab, rent, repeat, refinance, if you're going to try to BRRRR it and turn it into a rental, if you bought it with cash, your refinance company is going to make you have seasoning on it. Okay, you're going to have to sit there with it for 6 to 12 months to prove that that it was cash flowing, that everything is up and up. It's not, you're not cleaning laundry, you're not cleaning your money. Why? Because it's very easy to theoretically smuggle money in from Mexico, buy a property, and refinance it 2 weeks later, right? And then that doesn't happen anymore, right? Like, they put rules and laws in place for that. Now, if you bought it with cash, you have to wait 6 months, okay? If you don't have to wait 6 months, you can do it beforehand. You can take money out, but you're never going to get all of your money out. So back to that $300,000 deal that we talked about earlier. If it was appraised at $450,000 and you bought it with cash and you're trying to refinance within 6 months, you're probably going to be basing it off of that $300,000. Okay, because it's based off of your total cost, not the ARV anymore. So when you go to refinance it, now you're refinancing at a max of 80% of $300,000, not 80% of the $450,000. Okay, So yeah, your speed went up, but now you're leaving a lot more cash in every deal. Okay? Just some things to think about. Moving right along to hard money. These are short-term loans secured by real estate, typically provided by private lenders. Okay, they are typically 6 to 18-month terms. The 6-month terms, try to avoid. Okay, the 6-month lenders, they'll lend to anybody. The reason being is because they're playing a points game. Okay, they're going to lend to you for 6 months, and then on month 6, you're going to have to pay an origination bonus on top just to keep the loan, because you're probably not going to be in and out of it within 6 months. Okay, statistically speaking, you're going to be real tight. 6 months is a very tight turn time. Okay, not saying you can't get it done, but more times than not, you're paying that extension fee to bump it from a 6-month term to a 12-month term, and you're paying an additional point or two for that extension. And guess what? Every 6 months you're paying that. The purpose of these loans are often used by real estate investors to finance quick acquisitions and renovations. The renovation is always calculated in a hard money loan. Okay? I cannot stress that enough. Your rehab is always in there. What do I mean by that? Okay, let's say we're going back to that 300. All right, you bought a house for $250. You're going to put $50,000 work into it, and it's going to be worth a bigger number later on. Okay, if for whatever reason during the due diligence that hard money lender finds that the property isn't worth $450 anymore, right? Let's just say your numbers are a little off and the appraisal comes back and it's only going to be worth $400. So originally, the lender was going to give you a $300,000 loan, right? They were going to finance 100%, but now they're only going to do $250. Let's just say they're only going to finance $250. That's your purchase price. The problem is, it's not. The first $50,000 of that loan is held in escrow. It should be held in escrow. Let me just start there. If it's not, the hard money lenders are keeping it for, however they're doing it. But the first $50,000 is reserved for the repairs. Okay, it's held on the side. You're now bringing the cash to close, that difference of the required. The reason being, why are they funding the repairs no matter what? Let's say you get struck by lightning. You die. You go to jail. Something happens. The lender has to have that money available. This way they can go fix the house, finish it, and then sell it, right? Or whatever. The money is always there. Should and if the investor not complete the work, not do everything he said, she said they were going to do, the lender is now, has kind of like, I don't want to say a safety net, but something there, right? They're agreeing on the repairs. They're saying, hey, we're going to get a subject to appraisal. The subject to appraisal is subject to your repairs, okay? So you're going to provide them with a full document that says everything you're going to do to this property. You're going to go paint the walls. You're going to redo the kitchen. You're going to put stainless steel appliances in, everything. And everything's tallied out, right? And then every time you do a draw process saying, hey, I did this work up front. I did $20,000 worth of work. It's in the kitchen. This is everything we agreed upon. They'll come out, they'll do an inspection, and they will pay you those line items. They're only going to pay you for work that was completed, okay? So, what does that mean? If you tiled half the house in the bid, but you only tiled the kitchen, right, let's just say, and you're trying to collect on the full work being done, they're not going to pay out. They're going to pay out the appliances getting installed. They'll pay out the kitchen cabinets and the walls, but the flooring is not done yet. All right, well, that's getting held on the side, okay? If they paid you out and then you ended up failing the flooring, right, to finish the rest of it, where's the money coming to replace it, to fix it, to do it right? Right? So that's why as a lender, there's more hoops to get involved with this, right? Whereas cash, it's all you. It's very easy, very streamlined. Hard money gets its name because it's based on a hard asset, okay? It has to be tied to a hard asset. That's where it gets the name hard money. It's from the hard money and hard asset, okay? There's nothing hard about a hard money loan. Pros and cons of using hard money. Again, guys, I do a lot of rambling. If anybody has a question, anybody wants me to repeat something, just ping me and I will stop and recircle. Pros and cons of using hard money, right? So pros, they're faster approval and funding process when compared to traditional, okay? They still have due diligence. They still have a funding process and approval process. You can find hard money lenders that have completely different due diligence and requirements than others, okay? For an example, all right, Kelly Smith over at Easy Street, they use their own private capital. You will find two different types of hard money lenders. Let me start there. You will find hard money lenders that are private and they're using their own capital. That is who you want to use as a private money or a hard money lender. Okay, you want to make sure that your hard money lender is using their own capital. They are not brokering. What does a hard money lend broker do? They are just using Wall Street money. They're using end buyers that are going to fund your deal. Why do you want to avoid them? Because you don't know where the money's coming from. You don't know what is going to happen. How do I know this type of shit happens? Because in 2019, 2020, everybody hit the brakes on funding, okay? Except those with private capital, all right? So you had an entire wave of people that couldn't get their final draws of their properties. Their repairs were just stuck in limbo because they couldn't get things funded because Wall Street hit pause. And because people didn't know where their money was coming from, a lot of their deals locked up and did not get finished, okay? We saw a huge problem with that. There were hard money lenders that were just closing shops and they weren't putting the repairs in escrow. They just closed up shop, walked away, and good luck finishing your project. So if you are using a hard money lender, make sure they are private capital, okay? Ask us. Let us know. We'll tell you who to use. Kelly Smith at Easy Street. Easy Street uses their own capital, okay? If you're in DFW, Paul Starnes, he works for Investmark Mortgage. Mike Hanna owns Investmark Mortgage. He started that company by himself with his own capital, and he has grown it. Now he's nationwide, and he's the preferred lender for Lifestyles Unlimited, which is one of the biggest franchisees and mentorship programs out there. So his own capital is nationwide now, is what I'm trying to say. So you can find nationwide lenders, you can find giant hard money lenders that still use their own capital, okay? Cons, they are higher interest rates, okay? Don't be shell-shocked when you get a 13% rate from a hard money lender, okay? They are typically shorter terms, right? They're less than 24 months. They are in and out. They are to bridge a gap, all right? That's why they're also called bridge loans. They are to bridge the gap from purchasing it and then final outcome, right? Whether or not you're going to sell it retail, if you're going to find final refinance, then long-term financing, whatever. So Hard money is also called bridge capital or bridge financing. It's all different, all the same. They are higher fees and costs, and they still have their due diligence, okay? When you get approved with a hard money lender, save them, save that contact. And when you start your process with them, when you send them 123 Main Street, hey Kelly, I got this property, 123 Main Street, these are the deals. And do not ghost your hard money lender. Okay, that hard money lender is going to reach out to you nonstop. They need insurance. If you want to close fast, get them everything you need. Do not act like they are a pain in your ass. Okay, you know how many times people go to lenders and then they'll get approved for it and then they turn around and act like the lender's the bad guy. Meanwhile, that lender's trying to get your deal done just for you. Yeah, they're making a commission and everything. That's how they eat. But they're part of your team, right? They're the ones analyzing a deal and saying if it's good or bad and how quickly you can get it done. Do not ghost your hard money lender. I cannot stress this enough. Typical terms and interest rates for hard money loans, all right? So you'll get stickers, right? You can find them down 8% to 15%. 15% is more likelihood, okay? That 8%, you can find hard money lenders out there at 8%. This is not going to be at 70 to 80% of the property value, okay? These 8% loans, if you're chasing them, they're only going to be like 40% LTV, 50% LTV, okay? The 8% loans and the hard money loans, those are for people that are only needing partial payment, all right? There's somewhat cash buyers and there's somewhat still needing financing. And these are out there all day long, okay? Those investors, they know their numbers, they're going to buy right, but they're also going to bring a large portion of money. A lot of times they'll just finance the purchase price, flip it, reverse it. They'll finance the repairs, and they're coming up with the purchase price, right? So Jessica points out a great point, right? Don't trust their numbers alone, though. Make sure you do your own numbers, too. Not every lender knows realities of construction costs and timelines, okay? When you send your hard money lender the repair bid, they are not contractors. They are investors, right? Typically they're investors. Mike Hanna is an investor. Kelly Smith is an investor. They know deals, they know numbers, and they will be able to sniff out bullshit, okay? So if you try to provide them with a construction bid and it's really heavy up front, meaning all of the front work is high dollar and then everything on the back side that you're going to do toward the end of your rehab, if all of that is very low dollar, okay? And a lot of times people do that. They'll lie about the repair budgets in that type of way to try to get their upfront draws, get those nice and big. This way they can finish their properties out. Don't try to cheat a lender, okay? They are a part of your team. But Jessica's absolutely right. They are not contractors. They do not know actual costs and timelines. But they do underwrite a lot of deals, so use them, to your advantage too, right? Like, how does this look? Does this look like it's actually going to get the job done? They'll tell you if it seems a little light, right? And then you have to go back and argue that with them, okay? I just want a fair warning. If you are in the position where you're arguing with your hard money lender about the repair budget and costs and all of that, okay, I want you to take it as a yellow flag, just as a wave and a warning, okay, to recheck all of the numbers. If your lender is worried about a deal, maybe you should reevaluate it. That's all I'm saying, okay? I'm not saying it's a bad deal. I'm not saying it's a good deal. Not every lender knows what they're talking about, okay? But if it's a private lender, if it's a hard money lender and they're very If they know that market, trust them, okay? Never be afraid to walk away from a deal. Never try to bullshit a bullshitter. Yes, Don. Absolutely. Ideal scenario. Oh, no, I didn't even finish the rates and stuff. So 24 months. And then the loan, LTV, all right? 70% to 80% of the property's value. You're not going to find 80% right now. Nobody's going to do 80% on the hard money loan. You might be able to find 80% on the refinance, but still. 70% is typically for flips. They will go up to 75% for a refinance, okay? Why? Why would a lender lend more on a refinance or a BRRRR than a flip? Because they know, all right, let me back up a little. Not that they know, it's not a guarantee. That's the problem. There's a higher probability, that's a better one. There's a higher probability if Don brings me two deals, one's a flip and one's a refinance, one's a BRRRR, even if it's going all the way up to the 80%, right? I can get the pre-qualification, I can find out who his takeout lender is, right? So now it's kind of like, all right, this deal might sit on the market for 6 months. It might not get any offers because it's a flip, remember, right? It's going to retail. So what are the chances of me getting my money back? It's actually a little bit less than this one, because this one I had pre-vetted. I did a different approval process. I made sure that they had takeout financing. I looked at their credentials and I said, yes, he will be able to he'll be able to qualify for some type of takeout financing. So I will actually lend him 5% more. Okay, so that's why a lot of times you'll see the difference between flip financing and refinance or BRRRR financing, right, on that front side. Even though it's a front side and the same deal in a sense, same purchase price, the same rehab, it's just the takeout strategy is different. That is what will change the lender's front side numbers, okay? Ideal scenarios for hard money loans. So these are fix and flip projects. They are the bread and butter. Okay, short-term bridge financing. Again, if you need to bridge a gap from acquisition to takeout, that's what it's for, right? It's bridge financing. Quick closings, comparative to retail deals, okay? So these are typically, if you call Kelly, Kelly will get it done within 7 days. You call Mike Hanna, Mike Hanna will get it done within 7 days. You call other hard money lenders, they are probably going to take about 14 days. But 14 days for financing is still relatively fast. So that's where they come from. And then properties that do not qualify for traditional financing. If you try to take a C5, right, the condition, quality, if you try to take some of these shit boxes to Bank of America, they will laugh you out of the store, right? Whereas if you take the same deal, that same shit box to Kelly Smith, she'll tell you it's a great deal, right? You always go to the professionals, right? Who, not how. So why go to somebody that is using a product that is not meant for flipping? Go to the professionals, okay? All right. Now we're into the private money. This is all networking, okay? This is networking, this is relationships, this is IRA money, this is family who has IRA money, okay? These are all private. Private does not mean free, easy, anything like that, right? No, it's just different. These loans are provided by private individuals or companies, right? Rather than traditional financing institutions, often used for real estate investments, offering more flexible terms. You can get 30-year private financing. Somebody will finance you the construction, the purchase price, and then amortize it over 15 years or something wonky, right? They are the kings of their own domain. They can do whatever they want. Advantages of private money compared to traditional, we already talked about them. They are flexible, right? You can customize terms to fit specific deals. The speed, their faster approval. You're not dealing with a bunch of ropes and hoops to jump through. Accessibility, fewer requirements than traditional loans. Like I said, these are relationship based. You have to network. So attend investment groups and events, right? Let people know that you're looking for them. Put a name tag on, and on your name tag, write, "Hi, my name is Nick, looking for private capital." How fucking hard is that? Everybody that goes and sees your name and says, "Oh, hi, Nick," and right below it, they know right away what you're looking for. And I guarantee you, somebody in that meetup, somebody at Texas Tuesday will give you a business card and say, "Hi, I'm a private lender," yada, yada, yada. And then you're just going to keep them. And then you have to work them and nurture the relationship. Same thing you do with sellers, right? It's a different way to ask. Communication, right? You have to. If you don't like talking on the phone, probably private lenders aren't for you. These people potentially, let me just say that, potentially can be very burdensome. It is their capital. It is what they do for a living. They want to make sure that you are what you say you are and what you promise to do, right? At the same time, you can find private lenders that don't give a shit, right? Meaning they trust you, you're the professional, they're not going to be breathing down your back, okay? So it literally comes in completely different waves, right? Jessica says, ask your network too. Sometimes friends' money costs less than people in the industry. She is absolutely right. Instead of networking, right, instead of going to meetups and writing your name, social media, you should be posting all the time, right, that you're buying and everything. So it shouldn't come as a shock when you put on Facebook randomly, "Hey, looking for XYZ, looking for private capital, looking for somebody with IRA money." Okay, this is what they are. These are doctors with IRAs, and they just use their IRAs to self-invest, right? Put it out there, okay? If you don't ask, you're never gonna get it. I cannot stress that enough. You have to ask. Throw it out there. The world will respond, okay? You will find private capital in the most oddest of places, okay? People want to get into real estate. They do. This is a whole world that they don't know how to crack. So by living through you, right, by seeing everything that you do on Facebook, right, let's use Marie as an example. She's constantly posting different trips and different rehabs and selfies. If she put up there a post randomly saying, "Hey, I need private capital for a deal in Fort Worth," I promise you she's going to get a DM. Somebody that probably she doesn't even know watches her stuff and says, "Hey, I'm interested. Tell me about the deal," right? And that relationship you nurture, guess what? You just found a private lender for the next 30 years because that person is going to, hold on one second, Don. Because that person is going to, if you provide for them, they're going to love you. They're going to love that mailbox money, okay? They're going to want that mailbox money. When you pay them off, they're going to get sad that they're not getting that mailbox money. And then guess what? After you pay them off, you get to say, "Hey, I got another deal coming. Let me run it by you," right? So how do you vet? How do we vet them as a private money lender? You pretty much just want to make sure that they have capital. That's about it. right? You want to make sure, and you're also going to get a feel for them, okay? So what we do, what Tony and I will do, is we'll send them a deal. We send them the terms, okay? Hey, I have 123 Main Street. This is what I need. This is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for $150,000 on June 3rd at 8%, and I'm not going to bring any capital to the closing. It's 100% financing. Excuse me. Are they going to get paid monthly, or are they going to pay it at the end? Right? These are all different things that you can stipulate with them. Right? Hard money lender, you're paying every month. A private money lender, potentially, you might not pay at all. Right? You might not pay monthly. You might pay them all of their monthly payments. Let's say it's a 6-month loan and payments were supposed to be $1,000. So instead of paying them $1,000 every month, when you pay it off, they get that as a big bulk check, right? They're either going to pay you in the front side or the back side. That would be the back side, right? Back side being when the property closes, finances, and pays off. So that's another way. But typically, it's how they respond, okay? So if I presented Don with a deal and I'm saying, I want all these things and a cherry on top, and Don, if you start getting real squirrely, you start asking a bunch of questions, maybe the numbers were too high, like, you'll start getting a sense right there. They might just turn around and great, let's go, let's grip it and rip it. If that's the case, they're approved, right? But you pretty much don't want them involved also, okay? So a lot of times private money lenders want to get involved in the deals. No, you got to make sure that you're setting roles and responsibilities. You can try to present it as hey, I need a capital provider or a capital partner for this. Those are all great ways to do it, but let them know, like, this is your roles and responsibilities. You're in charge of paying. You're the bank. You're not going to dictate what tile I put on or how the rehab goes or the process. This is my timeline and projection of it all, but have all this up front. But yeah, you're the professional. Remember, you're setting the tone for everything, right? You keep them as the lender and you as the investor, you as the professional. How to present deals. Oh, shit, I should have just read this. Make sure you're including property details, financial projections, and exit strategies, okay? I'm not saying you have to present them with a full book, a full write-up, but even if you send it over in an email format, make sure all the information's there, right? Provide comps. Provide your rehab. Tell them, this is my exit strategy. I'm going to refinance this after 6 months. All right, well, what are rates going to look like in 6 months? What does market rents look like now, right? These are all the questions that are going to come up if you're going to be doing a refinance. Are you going to be able to get out of it in that timeline, right? They're wondering all these things. So whatever you can to eliminate their questions up front is going to make your life so much easier, okay? Professional presentation, use clear, concise, and professional documents. Risk mitigation, highlight how risk will be managed and minimized, okay? Like I just talked about, timeline, repairs, make sure that you're doing the actual work to the comps, okay? All these things matter. The less questions you can cause up front will make your life so much easier, okay? Oh, well, what about this back shed? Are you rebuilding that or tearing it down? Oh, I didn't even think about it. Well, if you're tearing it down, now you're going to need money for dumpsters and removal, right? Oh, it's not in here in the bid for rebuilding it, or it's just an unknown. right? If you left that out, what else did you leave out? So now I'm starting to analyze things more and more and more. So when you present it to them, again, it doesn't have to be a full business slide, right? But you want to make sure that you are presenting all the information as possible. Alex, so our best private money lender is just time, right? It's networking. I would say Tim's best private lender, right? So we have a couple different ones. But for Tim's, TJ's, right? He met him at a meetup, I think. He was doing, I think it was back when he was actually doing construction work on them, and he just randomly said, oh, I'll fund some deals, and okay. And then it's just been a relationship over the past 5 or 6 years. They go out to lunch every Wednesday, right? These are relationships that you have to nurture, okay? Ours, Tony and I's, it's somebody that he's known for 15, 20 years now, okay? I don't remember how he met Matt, but it's just a relationship, okay? People start trusting you. You can find private lenders anywhere. Go on Facebook and say, hey, I got a deal, 123 Main Street. You can put details out there or not. Just throw out there that you're looking for private capital. You're looking for IRA money. You would be surprised who reaches out to you, okay? You see Ryan Jackson do it every other goddamn week. Go copy paste one of his. Change the words from trap house to actual legible words, but it's the same thing. You don't have to overthink it. People try to overthink it, thinking that they have to go source grandma. No, you just have to throw it out there. I'm telling you. Where am I? Risk mitigation. Did that. Oh, that was it. That was the final one. So the question is, what's the best? What's the best out of all of them? And the answer is that there isn't, right? Everyone suits a different need, okay? Everyone fills a different gap and has a specialty role, okay? Some deals, it doesn't make sense to go find a hard money lender. Some deals are small enough where you don't need to go find private capital, okay? Some deals, okay, if they're big enough, it doesn't make sense to use private capital because it might be a little expensive or the terms might not fit. So it might be better to go get a hard money lender who might charge you a cheaper rate, right? If you're not worried about the due diligence and jumping through a couple hoops, maybe you have a month or two on the timeline before closing. That's great. So now I have time to do due diligence and homework for the hard money lender that they're going to require, right? Every deal is different. I was trying to highlight and bring light to which one is the best and the difference between the three. I hope I did that. If anybody has any questions, drop them in the comments. Let me know. But other than that, I'm at the end of my slide. I hope that was good. Rambled for 50 minutes. I don't. So do you have a template of a private money lender contract on your site, or where can we get that contract? I want you to know also, it's not like an upfront contract too that we sign. A lot of them are just closing documents, okay? So we'll get an agreed upon handshake deal. Let's just say, hey, yeah, I'll fund this at 12 and 2 for 12 months, right? And then when you go to closing, that's where you're going to get, like Jessica just said, that's where you're going to get the note and deed of trust, right? So this is all part of the closing documents that you get. The note and the deed of trust, that is going to come from the lender, And that is going to have all the stipulations on your loan. Okay, you can go in there and read them. We agreed upon a $150,000 purchase price at 9% every month, paid on the 3rd. It's going to be $1,250, and literally all of those are written out in that note and deed of trust. So it's going to be part of your closing documents. All of those, it comes down to what they want. Do they want payments, or do they want all of it in the arrears? Do they want to collect monthly? Right? What the best is for the private capital? I hope that answers your question. A lot of the times, mind you, I don't have a comparison slide. I want you to also know that a lot of the times your private money and your hard money, the terms can be very, very interchangeable, okay? So a 12 and 2 for a hard money loan, maybe a 13 and 2 now, 12.99, right, is probably typical. Meanwhile, private is probably 12 and 2, 12 and 3, right? The terms are going to be relatively the same. So you can always use a hard money loan as a template for bidding private capital to somebody, right? Hey, this is what I'm thinking, you provide XYZ, and you kind of just mirror what a hard money lender would provide. But the difference is now that borrower isn't pulling credit, okay? That lender isn't pulling credit. They're not asking for bank statements. They're not asking for your past work experience, all these other bullshit due diligence things that the hard money lender has to do, okay? Once a private lender starts doing those due diligence things, once a private lender pulls your credit and starts qualifying you on your income or anything, guess what? Now they're breaking the law. They have to, in order to do those things, they have to be a hard money lender, right? They have to be approved. You can't just go pull people's credits and shit. So, yeah, I don't know. Did you go over what a home run deal for a hard money loan would be? No, I didn't. I can kind of break one down. A home run hard money loan is anything under, okay, this. So, the 70% rule, the reason why majority of investors do the 70% minus repairs is because that's what the lender will provide. If I know I'm getting the best deal that my lender will finance 100% of, man, that's a screaming deal right there. There's 30%. You're going to take out 10% for resale. So you're working with the 20% spread between the 70% and the 90, right? Because I'm going to take 10 to 12% off for the resale. So now you're looking at a way better deal. Whereas if you walked in with the 75% deal, be ready, you're going to be bringing 5% cash to close. So it always comes down to the percentages. Also, the ARVs matter, okay? 15% on a 250 loan isn't that much. 15% on a 550 loan, well, that drastically goes up, right? So when and where. That also comes down to, do you want to flip those higher end properties, right? It's just more, that comes into the risk and reward thing, right? We always talking about. So just something another thing to take with a grain of salt, something to analyze, right? When you're looking at higher and flips. I'll try to work up a good deal for you, Don, and then I'll put in the group as like an example, and then I'll do like a good deal, and then just if it's a little bit wrong, what the differences can mean, right? So I'll show your cash to close changing. I'll try to do that. That'll be a good one. All right, that'll be good. I'll definitely work on that, Don. Thanks for the suggestion. Well, this is fun. This is a good call. I thought it was going to be like 20 minutes. Does anybody have any questions about financing? So, an investor friend actually made $8K at a closing on a home run deal. Now, I have a couple questions about this, okay? I'm going to assume that it was a flip. And you're talking about the front side closing. So how did he do that? Again, it comes down to your lender. Some lenders will do 100% of 70%, and that's it, right? They'll if you buy it at 68%, they'll still fund up to 70%, some of them. The typical private lender and such, right? That is not typical. I will tell you that right now. So to do this, it is possible. There are things you can do. You can wholesale it to yourself. That is something that people in San Antonio and Arizona like to teach. You're kind of defrauding your lender, though, if you're doing that. You're saying, I'm buying it from John Smith, who's actually Nick Sicilian, and I'm selling it, or I'm wholesaling it to Nick Sicilian LLC, and then you're going to be the lender for Nick Sicilian LLC, and I'm over here collecting $8,000, but I'm lying to you, telling you this is actually John Smith, right? So that is a way of doing it, is wholesaling it to yourself, so you collect money on the front side. The beauty of this is no matter what, this guy had a great deal, right? Whether or not he had to lie to his wholesale, whether or not he's wholesaling it to himself or whatever, right? I guarantee you this is less than 70% minus repairs, right? And he's flipping it. So he had the availability, one way or another, he's going to collect that money, right? Whether or not he collects it on the front side or the back side. Everybody does their business differently, right? So it comes down to deal first, right? Again, if you're at a 65% deal, you shouldn't have any problems getting financing for that, right? Because lenders look at that as a sure thing almost, right? Like same thing as risk and reward for you guys. They're looking at it as a risk and reward, right? What's the chances of this guy paying me back? If it's only 50% on the deal, even if he doesn't pay me back, I can come in, take it back over, do the work that's needed, and then still make myself whole, right? So it's a risk-reward thing across the entire board. It just works out that lenders usually are the best at it. Well, they have the position of power. So, I hope that was a good one. Tomorrow, as I stated earlier, tomorrow I'm going to be doing a call. It should be at 2 o'clock. That's with Deal Machine. I will send the blast out. If anybody needs anything, drop a comment, hit me up, let me know. If anybody has a specific video that you want me to shoot, if you want me to do a call on Thursday about XYZ, just message me, and I will do a call on XYZ on Thursday. So I'm here for you guys. That's what I'm trying to get at. Thursday, if I don't have a suggestion, I might pull in Jessica to talk about a past deal that we just wrapped up. Kind of do a deal review. If not, I'll come up with something. If anybody needs anything, reach right on out. If not, keep killing it, guys. Peace.